Thailand is astonished by a surge of disfigured and disabled Chinese beggars. Netizens' comments leave public stunned. Beijing's headache, troubling real estate sector, unemployment and downgraded spending. China lost more than 75% of foreign capital entering stock market in the first 7 months. U.S. lawmakers propose legislation targeting IMF to sever funding to the CCP. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Thailand is astonished by a surge of disfigured and disabled Chinese beggars. Netizens' comments leave public stunned. Recently, there has been intense discussion about the news of multiple Chinese beggars appearing on the streets of Bangkok. These beggars are physically disabled and disfigured, leading the police to suspect involvement in human trafficking. In more detail, according to reports from several Thai media outlets, Mr. Gon, a prominent social justice advocate in Thailand, received information that near the Beggars shopping mall in Bangkok, there was a Chinese female beggar with both hands amputated, extensive facial burns, and seemingly unable to walk, dressing in a school uniform and begging for alms. On November 19, Mr. Gon, along with personnel from the Thai Department of Social Development and Human Security and the Bangkok Police Department, initiated an investigation. Faced with the personnel's questions, the beggar only stated that she was of Chinese nationality and did not respond to any other questions. Subsequently, the personnel took her to the Bangkok Police Department for further investigation. The female beggar informed the police that she arrived in Thailand alone to beg on the 10th of the month, unaware that begging is illegal in Thailand. She also claimed to have 2 children in China and is divorced. The injuries on her body occurred during childhood due to an explosion of liquid in a vehicle. She has no fixed residence in Thailand. As for wearing a Thai school uniform, she explained that it was purely because she found Thai people's attire attractive. The police discovered 14,000 Thai baht, approximately $397 in cash on the woman. Subsequent investigations unveiled monthly transactions of 2 million Thai baht, approximately $56,738 in her bank account. Upon being taken to the police station, a Chinese woman, identifying herself as a translator, arrived in a luxury car, expressing her intention to handle the matter. She offered to pay the police 10,000 Thai baht, approximately $284, each as a release fee for the woman. Thai police deemed this familiarity with the release payment process highly suspicious, warranting further in-depth investigation. In a similar incident last week, Bangkok police arrested 2 female beggars near the Asok and Nana stations, areas with the highest pedestrian traffic. They are women around 40 years old with disabilities, dressed in Thai student uniforms to garner sympathy, lacking passports, and having Chinese women come later to secure their release. Reportedly, each of these beggars earn tens of thousands of Thai baht per day, with monthly incomes surpassing 300,000 Thai baht, approximately $8,510. Insiders disclosed that these beggars bore a distinct scar on their necks resembling a ring, as if marking a boundary preventing anything below the neck. This detail was considered highly unusual. The police suspect that these incidents are linked to organized crime. The 6 apprehended beggars are currently facing charges, and 1 has been deported. Begging is deemed illegal under Thai law, and the police advise the public not to give alms to beggars. The deputy spokesperson for the Thai government affirmed that the Thai government would thoroughly investigate the matter. The news has triggered discussions among mainland Chinese netizens. Chongqing used to have many beggars, especially near hospitals. There used to be beggars in subway carriages, but in recent years, especially after the pandemic, they are no longer seen. It turns out they went abroad. Some netizens expressed that, surprisingly, it's more profitable than working in China. One even asked if they are hiring. Beijing's headache, troubling real estate sector, unemployment and downgraded spending. In the last week of October, China experienced a decline in factory activity, with the manufacturing sector slipping into contraction. Meanwhile, growth in the services sector eased, highlighting the economy's fragile state. The Manufacturing Purchasing Managers' Index, PMI, fell to 49.5. This indicates a contraction, as scores below 50 signify a downturn. The non-manufacturing gauge, which measures activity in the construction and services sectors, also decreased from 51.7 to 50.6, though it remained above the contraction threshold. It is evident that demand is falling as the new orders indexes for both manufacturing and non-manufacturing PMIs slip below 50. Challenges in real estate sector. The most significant structural challenges within the Chinese economy revolve around the real estate bubble and its associated debt issues. Over the past decade, there was an excessive incentive to initiate new construction projects through loans rather than prioritizing the sale or completion of existing projects. Meanwhile, in a country with a population of 1.4 billion, the demand for housing remained high. Consequently, this artificial scarcity led to soaring prices for the apartments that did reach the market. The real estate sector grew to account for 20% of the economy while providing employment for just 2% of the workforce. Paradoxically, China has millions of unoccupied apartments. The reason prices remain artificially high and the glut remains unresolved is due to local government-imposed price controls. Chinese property developers are required to register their prices with local housing authorities before selling homes. Local governments heavily depend on land sales for 80% of their revenue, incentivizing them to maintain high prices. Additionally, the real estate sector serves as collateral for hundreds of billions in bank loans, so allowing prices to decrease would lead to a surge in loan defaults. Now, as China grapples with a severe economic deceleration and a substantial decline in housing demand, local authorities are reluctantly permitting price reductions. While potential new buyers may welcome this change, existing homeowners are incensed, witnessing the devaluation of their life savings. For many Chinese families, the majority of their wealth is tied to real estate. When property values decline, so does their financial security. In some cities, home prices have plummeted by as much as 50% compared to their 2020 or 2021 levels. However, when existing homeowners sought compensation for their losses from local governments, the response was to instruct developers to nullify all new contracts. Workers struggle to secure jobs. Manufacturers selling to export markets continue to face a declining trend, as indicated by the new Export Order Index. In addition to this, approximately 300 million migrant workers in China, who moved from rural areas to urban centers for factory employment, are currently struggling to secure jobs. These workers are not accounted for in China's official unemployment figures because they are registered in their hometowns or villages. The official jobless rate of 5% only covers urban workers, thus excluding the broader employment issues faced by migrant workers. As employment opportunities continue to diminish, an increasing number of young individuals are vying for positions within provincial and central government agencies. A record-breaking 2.83 million candidates recently took the civil service examination, competing for just 39,000 positions. Local governments are burdened with substantial debt, and with declining land sales, their prospects for recovery are bleak unless the central government intervenes. The government sector was already excessively bloated, but now, during a period when young job seekers are seeking government positions, some provinces are grappling with payroll challenges while others are cutting jobs. Downgraded spending is trending. The Golden Week holiday at the start of October typically provides a boost to both travel and consumer spending. However, this year, the increased number of travelers can be attributed, in part, to wealthier Chinese individuals choosing to stay within the country due to reduced overseas holiday spending. While the total spending during this period was only slightly higher than in 2019, this does not indicate a true recovery. Instead, it signifies the loss of 3 years' worth of growth. This also implies that China had to rely on a greater volume of travelers this year to generate revenue equivalent to that of 2019, further underscoring financial constraints among the population. Understandably, Chinese consumers are seeking cost-cutting measures, with discount retailers gaining ground while luxury brands are losing favor. In the first 5 months of the year, China experienced a 9.3% surge in retail spending as COVID-19 restrictions were lifted, but this apparent recovery has now stalled. The term downgraded spending is trending on the Chinese social media platform Weibo. Traditional retailers like Alibaba and JD.com have witnessed declining sales, while discount shopping sites like Pinduoduo are on the rise. Consumers are also opting for cheaper domestic cosmetics and clothing brands over foreign ones. Meituan, a Chinese platform offering food and product delivery services, reported a drop in orders due to consumers avoiding additional delivery fees. When citizens harbor uncertainty about the future, they tend to save money, leading to increased bank deposits. The central bank has reduced interest rates in an attempt to encourage spending, but so far, there are few takers. This presents a challenge for Chinese officials hoping to boost the economy by stimulating domestic consumption. China lost more than 75% of foreign capital entering stock market in the first 7 months. The trend of foreign capital withdrawing from China continues. According to British media reports, more than 75% of the foreign capital that flowed into the Chinese stock market in the first 7 months of this year has withdrawn. Foreign investors have sold off Chinese stocks in recent months. Global investors have sold Chinese stocks worth more than $25 billion. Some analysts believe that the withdrawal of U.S. funds from China is a major indicator of the direction of the global economy. Senior current affairs commentator Li Lini, actually, 2 days ago or about a week ago, there was a landmark event, that is, the U.S. federal pension has excluded China and Hong Kong from investment destinations. The Financial Times reported that the head of an investment and trading department in Hong Kong said, Japan is very popular, India, South Korea, and Taiwan are also very popular, reflecting that the economic market is shifting its focus to other parts of Asia. Mr. Li said, so in the future you will see a trend, which is to invest in Asia, except China. Everyone will be happy to buy such an investment portfolio. Overseas selling of Chinese stocks has caused the CSI 300 index to fall more than 11% this year in dollar terms, while stock benchmarks in Japan, South Korea, and India have risen 8% to 10%. According to Mr. Li, as foreign investment gradually withdraws from abroad, China's economy will become even worse in the future. And the worse it gets, the more worried the CCP, Chinese Communist Party, authorities will be that the people will resist it and overthrow it, so its supervision will be more severe. It will create a vicious cycle. Only by overturning its entire policy and starting over, and even the Communist Party system, can we restore the confidence of foreign investment. Senior current affairs commentator Tang Jingyuan, foreign investors, actually have no confidence in the entire CCP system. Foreign capital, they have clearly seen the totalitarian system of the CCP, and its so-called reform and opening up is actually just a scam. As long as this system does not change, as long as the CCP's governance method does not change, and as long as the CCP regime still exists, then it is impossible for these foreign capitals to have a truly safe and stable investment environment. U.S. lawmakers propose legislation targeting IMF to sever funding to the CCP. In recent developments, Republican lawmakers in the United States have been actively proposing legislation in both houses of Congress aiming to grant Congress the authority to hold the International Monetary Fund, IMF, accountable. Their objective is to curb the organization from providing funds to countries considered hostile to the United States, including the CCP, Iran, and North Korea. On November 21, Republican Congressman Scott Franklin introduced the IMF Accountability Act in the House of Representatives. This legislative proposal seeks to enhance Congress's influence in determining the allocation of special drawing rights, SDRs, and loans by the IMF. As outlined in the bill, the U.S. representative at the IMF is explicitly prohibited from voting on any allocation of SDRs, quota increases, or policy changes that favor specific countries or serve alternative purposes. Congressman Scott Franklin emphasized that these funds are currently being utilized to assist hostile nations in achieving their political ambitions and bolstering economic power, thereby placing the United States at a disadvantage. The newly proposed legislation aims to fortify congressional oversight, ensuring that American taxpayers' money is not directed into undesirable channels. Simultaneously, Republican Congressman Gus Bilirakis underscored the importance of avoiding a conciliatory stance in the government's policy towards hostile countries, stating that such an approach would only embolden rogue regimes. Another co-sponsor, Congressman Alex X. Mooney from West Virginia, asserted that Russia, the Chinese Communist Party, and Iran should not receive any financial support. He emphasized that it is imperative for Congress to reclaim its authority over these funds. Republican Senator Rick Scott underscored the necessity to convey a clear message to sponsors of global terrorists and evil regimes, stating unequivocally that the era of a free ride is over, and their funding is now cut off. In analyzing these legislative moves, columnist Wang He explained that the primary purpose of the bill is to target specific countries, including China, Russia, and North Korea. The Biden administration is adopting a more stringent stance against China within the context of IMF-related issues. Wang He further elaborated on the dynamics within the World Bank, highlighting that while China has been the largest borrower for an extended period, its economic prowess now exceeds the assistance standards set by the World Bank. Despite this, the World Bank continues to provide substantial loans to China through long-term framework agreements with the Chinese Communist Party. Commenting on the recent developments, Taiwanese financial expert Huang Shirtsong suggested that the United States might leverage its influence within the IMF to influence its decisions. However, uncertainties remain regarding whether the IMF will ultimately make the final decision. Nevertheless, Huang emphasized the current unequivocal stance of the U.S. Congress and public opinion in demanding constraints on the development of the CCP. Huang added that recent reactions in the United States, including those in the U.S. Congress, indicate a continuous escalation of distrust towards China, the Chinese Communist Party. Contrary to surface-level appearances of eased tensions in leadership between the U.S. and China, Huang emphasized that no substantive relaxation is evident. Experts argue that, as the United States approaches the upcoming presidential election, both political parties are unlikely to make concessions to the Chinese Communist Party. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.